hell happened here?
It hasn't happened yet.
The title of Christopher Nolan's film Tenet is a palindrome. It reads the same forwards and backwards, but that's more than just clever wordplay. It reflects the film's core idea, a story that folds in on itself, where beginning and endings meet, and the time loops back in surprising ways. If you map out the narrative, you'll see the opening and closing scenes happen at the same moment. Key events like the Freeport scenes are perfectly balanced around the midpoint. The thrilling car chase in Tenet marks the furthest point in time before everything reverses. Tenet is a film packed with detail and complexity, so dense that it's almost impossible to catch all its layers on a first watch. This is a classic Nolan, non-linear storytelling, complex plotting, and a bold use of music. The score by Ludwig Göransson is unusually loud and immersive. It doesn't just back up the action, it demands your attention. With strange, unsettling sounds, the music doesn't just support the idea of time inversion, it becomes part of it. The protagonist is an enigma. We know very little about him beyond the fact that he is a CIA agent. There's no detailed backstory, no personal history, not even a name. This feels like a deliberate choice by Nolan. The protagonist is less a person and more a symbol, someone who could be anyone. In this scene, Priya explicitly suggests this. If something happened to him, someone else would take his place.
I'm the protagonist of this operation.
You are a protagonist. Did you think you were the only one capable of saving the world?
This does not lessen his role, but reinforces that he represents a function, a driving force behind the story. He initiates the mission, leads the action, and ultimately realizes he created the entire operation.
This whole operation's a temporal pincer.
Whose?
Yours! You're only halfway there. I'll see you at the beginning, friend.
I realized I wasn't working for you. We've both been working for me. I'm the protagonist.
This loops the narrative back onto itself, showing he is not just a participant but the architect of a story. Symbolically, he might represent anyone willing to act, to stand against threats like Sata, to protect what remains, represented by Kat, and to safeguard future generations, symbolized by Max. Whether Nolan intended this or not, it adds meaningful depth to his faceless identity. Musically, the protagonist is the most clearly defined character. His leitmotif appears more than any other and acts as an anchor. It builds around rhythmic drive and digital textures, reflecting his forward momentum and determination. There's mechanical precision, but also tension, as if he's moving forward to something uncertain. Another distinctive element is the sampling of Travis Scott's voice. These fragments are abstract textures, not full lyrics, blending into the score. They highlight the protagonist's position between human emotion and a structured, almost mechanical world, a contrast between organic feeling and logic. Through these musical and narrative choices, the protagonist becomes more than a character. He becomes the idea of action itself, the force propelling the story forward, even as it loops back on itself.
It seems you need an introduction to a prominent Mumbai local on short notice. I'm Neil.
Neil is one of Tenet's most mysterious characters. On the surface, he is the loyal contact the protagonist requests in Mumbai. He's charming, intelligent, and resourceful. But early on, it becomes clear Neil knows more than he should. He understands the protagonist's goals and even part of a mission yet to be revealed. A popular theory is that Neil is actually Max, Kat's son. This is speculative, but supported by several clues, including a moment here that hints at his connection.
You have a future in the past. Years ago for me, years from now for you.
You've known me for years.
For me, I think this is the end of a beautiful friendship.
But for me, it's just the beginning.
We get up to some stuff. You're gonna love it. You'll see.
According to this theory, Neil grows up knowing the protagonist and eventually travels backwards through time to help complete the mission. This explains their close relationship, despite being told that they are meeting for the first time. The first meeting may be an illusion created by the reverse timeline. One key piece of evidence is the red thread on Neil's backpack near the film's end. which links him to the opera siege in Kiev, the story's opening event. This suggests Neil has been involved from the start, or even earlier. Rewatching the earlier scenes with this in mind reveals a different meaning. Their conversations carry quiet understanding and subtle hints. What seemed like a new partnership is actually a profound, long-standing bond. If this theory is true, Neil's final sacrifice becomes even more poignant. He's not just a loyal ally, but someone completing a loop that began long before the story. He is one of the film's most quietly tragic figures. When Neil first sits with the protagonist, the music immediately sets a strange, intriguing tone. The cue begins with reversed chords that fade in and out like breathing, creating a sense that time is already altered. From bar 1 to 12, there are no minor chords, despite the bass note around C# suggesting one. Instead, the harmony uses suspended second and fourth chords, giving an unexpected brightness. This brightness is unusual in Tenet's otherwise dark, minor and dissonant harmonic world. Here, the music suggests Neil's trustworthiness, a good-natured presence standing apart from the score's gloom. Above this, an airy pad plays a melody derived from the protagonist's theme, but reversed. This subtle detail would nearly be impossible to notice without isolating the music, but works subconsciously to suggest a deeper connection between the two. When Neil replies, "No you don't," the music cuts to a bright chord with a high A in the melody, a piercing moment hinting at hidden history. This chord progression returns later in the film, arranged for strings after the second Freeport heist, now sounding more natural and emotionally grounded. The major chords again signal connection and trust as their relationship develops. Another subtle detail appears at bar 17, when Kat's theme is layered using the same sonic colors as Neil's motif, before she has even appeared. This may hint at Neil's connection to her, possibly alluding to the theory that Neil is Max. But more about her theme in the next video. The cue ends with a hanging chord repeating faster and faster, mimicking the tightening winch lines as they prepare to scale the building. This chord returns during one of Neil's final scenes when he unlocks the door in the hypercenter. It musically links these key moments and highlights Neil's cyclical journey. Now that we've met the protagonist and Neil, the central figures navigating this complex time-bending world, let's dive deeper into the forces shaping their journey. Up next, Sata and Kat, whose intertwined fates push the story into darker, more personal territory.